Hi guys, welcome back to Umineko. I think I've learned just how much the woman called Beatrice influenced grandfather's life. We haven't learned anything. Who killed Beatrice? Unless we figure that out, we'll never be able to get out of here. You're right. We need to finish this quickly. The funeral's already over, after all. You've got it all wrong. This is the funeral. You mean what she's making us do? All the beaches we've heard about so far weren't killed at all. We're trying to understand what the word killed factors in. That's the real funeral as far as Burkittsville's concerned. No one knows about her being killed, and that's the truth we're trying to expose. Aren't you? As Harley feels like I'm talking to somebody from the lower plane. So this is why I was giving you as my Watson. Ouch. Don't call your partner a piece. So what next, Warlord Holmes? Step 1, upholding the investigation is questioning witnesses, of course. There's still a Beatrice we need to ask about. To indicate whom they should talk to next, Will not in the direction of George, Jessica, and Mariah. Mariah said no to the election, the others about something. Wow, Beatrice sounds pretty incredible. Yeah, and then a sudden upside-down cup. She made tons of candies appear out of nowhere. Inside the overturned cup, amazing. Sounds like magic to me. Mariah Chen really loves witches and magic. We could hardly avoid consulting our local authority on witches. When looking for someone to ask Beatrice, Mariah rose to the top of the list. The Beatrice she spoke of wasn't the real Beatrice, the one Kenzo and the others had talked about. Over here in 1986, the name Beatrice always probably prefers to the person Mariah's always talking about. I don't see Battler anywhere. You showing me a Battler, the one who was forced to fight Beatrice's opponent in many games, and the most important person in this game is Tail. A Battler in this world will probably be the peace version, but even so, it should be possible to get some vital information out of him. Will probably wanted to talk with Battler too, but he is nowhere to be seen in the Cousins group. Battler did not attend this funeral. It's a shame, seeing as he's the cousin's closest in age to me. Are you two on good terms? Yes, of course. And you pinch his butt every time he says something perverted? Oh, how did you know? Did your detective instincts tell you that? Poor guy. Burkittsville said that everything we needed was gathered here. Since Battler isn't here, that probably means it's possible to find out everything without asking for his side of the story. Or maybe she's intentionally hiding the core elements and making us take the long way around as part of some fickle witch's gang. Since he isn't here, that probably means there's no need to hear his story for the time being. Let's talk to Mariah. I won't say anything perverted, so keep your hands off my ass. Did try not choose blah blah blah. Then why not try choosing your words a bit more carefully? With a roguish smile, Leon pinched the air, index finger against middle. Ah, Sir Sama, are you done babysitting the old geezer? Yeah. At least Leon was impartial, no mercy even for Jessica. Will felt a bit gratified. I see, since you're the successor and closest child, and Jessica's your little sister. He was so used to Jessica being an only child that though the scuffle between the two looked pretty perfectly natural, so they didn't feel quite right about it. Jessica, can you talk a bit more like a little sister is supposed to? And while we're at it, I want to try talking more like a girl your age. How many times do I have to tell you to stop calling me Successor Sama? Just shut up, I'll live the way I want to. I'd suffocate if I had to act all refined like you, Successor Sama. Ouch, ouch, just stop it, don't pinch me, that little sister abuse pervert, stop it, ow, ow. Jessica, why are you talking like that in front of a guest? Do you want Mother to scold you again? Looks like those two are close in their own special way. Well, Leon is an excellent person and be the successor without any faults. I guess I understand how Jessica Chen feels. Leon might be a bit too perfect sometimes. She gets compared to Leon no matter what she does, and that made her rebel. If Jessica Chen had been born an only child, I'm sure she would become a composed, quiet young lady. That's an interesting thought. Don't worry, that wouldn't be enough to change her personality. George Oni Chen, who is this person? This is the first time we met, right? But you seem to know a lot about our family. I'm George, and this is Mariah. Pleased to meet you. Call me Will. I'm investigating Beatrice. Please tell me what you know. Beatrice, ooh, see? Beatrice exists. Though Mariah hostile towards this unfamiliar man. As soon as she heard the name of the witch she loved pass his lips, her eyes began to sparkle. Hey, Mariah Chen, you've got to greet our guests properly. Hello, my name is Ushimiya Mariah. Ooh, hello, I'm glad to meet someone who knows Beatrice. Handshake. Ooh. Mariah suddenly stuck out her small hand and Will reached out for it reflexively. As soon as he did, he felt a bright light seeping out from the gap between their hands. The theater-going power that Birkenstock gave him had affected Mariah. Beatrice is the witch of Okajima. She plays with me every time I come here. She's my best friend and a fellow member of Mariah Society. The light grew brighter and brighter. This time he could feel himself being drawn into Mariah's world. I'm Ushimiya Mariah. My mama is Rose. Papa. I think I remember my mama showing me a picture a long time ago saying, "This is your papa." It was a picture of a man with a dark suntan on the beach wearing a swimsuit. Later on, when I learned what papa meant, I asked Papa to show me a picture again, but she said it didn't exist. But it had to have existed. When I drew a picture of it, she showed it to mama. She got really mad and said it didn't exist, or that if it did, she had already thrown it away. Ever since then, she kept saying I didn't have a papa. Did you know? People say you need a papa and a mama to have a baby, but that's a lie. Virgin birth is it? Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel. If I was a boy, that might be my name. Book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 20. No, verse 23, verse 20 is, but while he thought on these things, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife, for that which is conceived in her is the Holy Ghost. So your father is the Holy Ghost. Everyone said that everyone had a papa. It was strange not to have a papa, but I was a weird, pitiful child. But when I asked Mama, she said I didn't have a papa and that he didn't exist. She got mad and hit me, even though all I did was ask, so I didn't really understand who gave birth to me. I wasn't an immature, misplaced creature, not a proper human. I realized I was a strange, beautiful girl, different from everyone else. It doesn't matter who your parents are or what other people say, you are who you are. It must have been hard to teach that to a young, immature kid. My kindergarten teacher might have said that to me when I cried after being bullied. But even those words of encouragement couldn't fill the blank space, no the questions. Those words couldn't answer the questions in my mind. And the book is what gave you the answers. A priest came to see me. It was probably to enrich the minds of children through an edifying tale. To most of the children, it was just an ordinary fairy tale they might have heard from one of their teachers. Actually, I think we were just bored because it was too hard to grasp. Then at the end, the priest said something important. That God knows everything? Yep, so I asked him. I only have a mama, I don't have a papa. Mama gave birth to me without a papa. Was that a strange, sad thing? I asked. The priest taught me there's nothing strange about child having no papa. After all, Jesus Christ was born of a virgin. Then when he gave birth to him was the Virgin Mariah. I was surprised, for Mariah was the name I was given and had been showing me the answer all along. I was so shocked that I had to ask the priest to say it again. He said the Virgin Mariah gave birth to a baby herself. So I asked him if I had to give birth to a baby all by myself too. And how did he answer that? He said the Virgin Mariah was the child because of the Holy Ghost. The second part of the book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 20, without which is conceived in her is of the Holy Ghost. That was surprising me again. What do you think that means? You interpreted this to mean that you showed Mariah, I know for you, my father, that your real father was the Holy Ghost. Regardless of the Bible's original meaning, this young, sad girl whose lack of a father had caused her to lose her sense of identity had finally created a witness. And once I realized that, I knew I was different from all the other kids. The ones who made fun of me were all children of Joseph, but I alone was different. I wasn't worse than anyone else. I was a child of God, a child of the Holy Ghost. When I got back, I told Mama I had no papa. Mama gave birth to the instant power of God. It was probably painful for Rosa when I asked about her father. Why did Mariah have no papa when everyone else had a papa and Mama? Every time she asked this, Rosa flew into a rage and changed the subject. And then for some reason, all on her own, Mariah had found an answer that satisfied her. She had no papa. She was a child of Mama and God. It isn't too difficult to imagine that Rosa, after hearing this young girl's explanation, might go along with it as though it were true. Pietro said that the minimum number of people needed to create a world is 2. I thought she meant that you need 2 parents to create a child. That's when I thought of it. Pietro may be a witch, but she's a witch born of a human. Pietro isn't a child of the Holy Ghost. But I'm different. I was born from Mama alone. I was born of the Holy Ghost. Beato can create a universe without me, but God isn't always by your side. It's all by myself along with the Holy Ghost. Beato called me the Witch of Origins, and she also said that eventually I might become a creator who could create anything alone. All by myself I can create something out of nothing. Beato could take that and extend it into infinity. The angel was the witch's apostle who would spread the word far and wide. And that was Marriage Sorcier. There's a huge difference between one and infinity. That's why Beato is so great. However, compared to the difference between existence and non-existence, one and infinity are nearly the same thing. And the child doesn't become the best witch. No, the greatest creator in the world. Mirage Sorcier was the nest to prepare me for that. I am Ushami Mariah who stands by God's side. If we luck in Mariah's sense of identity to a universe, then this stream of words coming from her might be like the Big Bang. She's been so long tormented over how to interpret her lack of a father, then by chance, she saw a line in the Bible that looked like it was secretly referred to her, and she finally formed an understanding of it. The sad girl who hated herself for being different from all her classmates finally found a meaning for her existence. At that moment, Mariah's universe had once been nothingness, but born as a cloud of ultra high pressure energy. But later on, she went to work in Gmail met the endless where she called herself Beatrice, and that club of energy exploded in a big bang, giving her birth to their magical compendium. That was the universe known as Mirage Sorcier. Jumping about, and again for a second, we're jumping about a bit too fast. Let's take things one at a time. Sure, where do you want to start? After you decided that you were the child of the Holy Ghost, it's easy to imagine that you gradually became more and more interested in the occult. And then what? Once you reached that state, where did you meet Beatrice and how did the two of you interact? It really did happen all of a sudden. One day I wanted to meet the witch called Brokenjima. I wanted to meet her as a fellow witch. At that time, you already knew you were a witch. I did, even then when it came to the Bible and the color, I knew as much as an adult, so even though I couldn't use magic, I believed that I was a witch. That's a bit funny, isn't it? That's why I was only a witch of pretense. When did you meet Beatrice? I don't really remember when, but I do remember what it was like. It was really, really sudden. Huh? So you are Ushamiya Mariah, I presume. It was so very sudden. I was drinking some milk tea all alone in the rose garden arbor. Mama said she had to talk about something important with Uncle Claus, so she told me to go outside and play. Suddenly she was sitting right there. I didn't know anyone who spoke that way. I quickly realized that she was someone I didn't know at all. Who are you? You're the one who wanted us to meet. Here I am, welcoming the witch you get to visit my island, and yet you ask my name? Precisely, I'm Beatrice. Yeah, that is pretty sudden. Yep, really, really sudden. There are witches and spirits right next to us all the time. They just choose not to show themselves, and when they do show themselves, it's always sudden, as though they've been there the whole time. That's what I learned that day. And then you and Beatrice became friends? Yeah, she stayed and chatted with me a bit the whole time until Mama was done with her work. We talked about magic and witches, and about how I was a child of a Holy Ghost. And what was your impression of Beatrice then? I don't like saying it, but my knowledge at least was better than hers back then. At first I thought she wasn't a very good witch. Well, that was just my conceit. There are so many different kinds of magical compendiums. Plus mine was based on self-study. I'd probably only be Beatrice that way because her magical compendium was different from mine. It wasn't long before I came to regret that and apologized. Apologize to Beatrice, you said to win your respect? I see, so she showed you magic. To the beach and talked a lot, sitting at a table under an umbrella. Very interesting, Mariah. So you become quite diligent in your studies at your age to be capable of teaching a 1,000-year-old witch such as myself is truly an accomplishment worthy of admiration. So what sort of magic can you use? Magic? Yes, if you call yourself a witch, you must be able to show me some sort of magic, correct? Well, stunned for a second. Of course, it should have been obvious. I was a child of the Holy Ghost, as I studied so much until you called I was also a witch, not a human. Until that day, I've been so sure of both of those things. So when I asked what sort of magic I could use, it left me in a daze. When no one knows of magic you can speak of it, they've only reached your rank of apprentice. One is only a witch if they can put such knowledge into practice and use magic, correct? So I'm not a witch yet. You've studied well, and I guess it's a very rare talent within you. One day you can become a witch so great that even I could not compare, or perhaps even a creator, as you have told me. However, you are still young and immature. You are a witch apprentice, you might call it. So does that mean you can use magic Beato? Of course. I could not call myself a witch otherwise. Incredible, show me. I want to see your magic. Till this day, Maria had never doubted the magic thing idea that she was a child of the Holy Ghost. However, no one had ever proven to her that the occult phenomena actually existed. Mariah could create a universe all by herself. However, she wanted to share it with a second person so that she could believe in it even more strongly. Once I could have drawn a rainbow in the sky, transformed it into 7 colors of candy, and eaten them at my leisure. However, my power has weakened so much that I cannot even preserve my form to my satisfaction. You told me about that. You cannot use your full power because it's a shrine. It will take some cooldown before my power returns. At this moment, I cannot turn rainbows to candy. However, perhaps I could show you a little bit of that power, some simpler magic. I want to see your magic. Very well. However, I must ask for your senses, since I've already told you, no matter how pure your soul might be, all humans are tainted and filled with the toxin that exists. Yeah, I remember you told me about the anti-magic toxin. It wasn't in any of the books I've read. You must be really incredible to know so much. Beatrice looked up an empty teacup, turned it around in front of Mariah to show her any tricks or strings. Right, the magic to make candy appear inside an overturned cup. How did you know? You're incredible. Well, you even know about witch magic. It's the most basic sort of witch magic after all. It was just a normal cup without any tricks in it. I wanted to see true magic. It was a thing Mariah desired. She shouldn't her believe that there was an occult side to her. She wanted to see the occult side herself as well. That's why she agreed to help Beatrice with her magic. She didn't want her toxin to ruin her chance of learning the miracles of magic. Good, then try looking inside that cup. Ah, there's candy. As a gift of my meeting with a new witch and the sign of our friendship, I offer this to you. This was a true miracle of magic. For the first time I felt shame and embarrassment for that sense of omnipotence disappeared. The idea that I was a child of the Holy Ghost and the most important special person in the world. And instead of a child of the Holy Ghost who couldn't actually do anything, I'd rather be a witch who could use magic. Ushio Mia Mariah wants to become a witch. Starting off as a witch apprentice, I was already fascinated by Beato. I want to become a real witch too. I want to be your disciple. And how modest, you already have an abundance of talent and diligence. Although I may be different when I was at my full power, I cannot take a disciple in my current state. So I can't become a witch's disciple, blah blah blah. Correct, you cannot become my disciple. However, you can become my friend. Really, indeed, from this point forth we shall be friends. Let's continue to discuss the deep and profound world of witches. Ooh, thank you, Beato. Can I eat this candy? No, let that be a souvenir. Instead of eating it, keep it in that adorable bag of yours. Okay, I'll eat it at home. Ooh. Mariah, that candy was bound to being by magic, therefore it is fragile. If you deny my existence, let them fade away. Ooh, no, I don't want to be those precious magic to disappear. Then be sure that you do not forget your meeting with me. As long as you keep a little promise with me, I shall be here to greet you when you return to this island. Ooh, I'll keep it. What's the promise? Well, to start, when you get home, wash your hands. Then rinse out your mouth. You must not complain about this, for it is an important part of witch's training. I'll do it every day when I go home. I'll wash my hands and rinse my mouth out. If I do that, will I see you again? I promise it. If you keep your end of the promise, your body will be cleansed or will regain even more of a magical power. If that happens, I will show you your more incredible magic the next time you come. Ooh, I'll keep my promise no matter what. I'll do it. I'll become your friend and witch apprentice. There is always hurt when you show me, Mariah. I hope you will become a witch, full witch, and my close friend soon. I think it was the first time I met Beatrice. And was that candy still there when you got home? Yep, but I doubted a little, so it was all melty. I regretted almost doubting her. If I doubted her more, the candy would have disappeared completely. I almost lost the proof of the magical miracle that had happened before my eyes. A piece of candy melted. I think it was more of a caramel than normal candy. It was all lumpy and just starting to melt. What about the time of the year did this happen? I'm not too sure, but I remember that the milk tea had ice in it. Why does that matter? Never mind, did you tell Rosa about meeting with Beatrice? Yep, I told everyone about that dinner that day. Uncle Cross laughed at me. Then Mama, who was sitting next to me, got mad and told me to stop talking about it. Ew. Next to you? By your family's racism, your seat shouldn't be next to Rosa's. It wasn't a family conference. It was when just Mama and I came to visit. There was only Uncle Cross's family and Mama and me, and there were fewer people, so we didn't sit in the same spots as family conference. And Rosa was next to you? Yeah, why does that matter? It doesn't. Have you ever met with Beatrice outside Rokenjima? No, after all, Beatrice's body is fragile, so she can't go wherever she wants. I said I wouldn't mind letting her possess me, but she said she couldn't because she couldn't leave the island. And after that, you met her every time you came to Rokenjima. Yeah, we became really good friends. The more I talked to Beatrice, the more I realized what an amazing witch she was. She showed me wonderful magic every time I saw her. Then she told me that about a magical competent name that was different from mine, and we both talked together about the mysteries of magic. I wanted to reach her level as soon as I could. I wanted to become the kind of witch Beatrice was. Did you ever introduce Beatrice to your mother? Nope, she said Mama's toxin was too strong, so they couldn't meet each other yet. Almost all adults are no good when it comes to the toxin because they're all tainted. Was anyone other than you able to see Beatrice? They couldn't at first. She said her magical power was so weak that her body would crumble even a little bit of toxin reached her. But she got the magical power bit by bit, and she could eventually appear in front of other people who had toxin. And who was that? There weren't many of them. Just a few of the servants. Specifically, all the servants here today. Ooh? But not Goda-san, I think. So there were 4 of them, Genji, Shinen, Kinnen, and Kumasawa, and Dr. Nanjo too. Apparently they would sometimes come to visit Mariah and Beatrice's witches' tea parties. Of course, they only come for the minor things like bringing some more tea. However, they were certainly aware of Beatrice and even talked with her. How did the servants react to Beatrice? She was a guest who shouldn't have existed. Weren't they surprised? Of course not. After all, Beatrice is the other master of the mansion. She said that the servants treated Beatrice as an honored guest, and sometimes they were permitted to witness new miracles of magic along with Mariah. So on the Rokenjima of 1986, the ones who could actually meet with Beatrice were you, Nanjo, and the 4 servants, excluding Goda, for a total of 6. Yeah, Beatrice said she needed to store up much more magical power before she could appear in front of anyone else. So she intended to show herself in front of more people sometime in the future. Yeah, she said the day humans acknowledge her would be the day of her resurrection. Mariah, the servants, and Nanjo had acknowledged her. She probably appeared before new humans one by one, starting with those anti-magic toxin was the weakest. Beatrice's scheme was to increase the number of humans who would recognize her until she could make everyone on the island acknowledge her. And of course, of that there could be no doubt. In that case, the last person Beatrice needed to be in front of would be Battler, the one who said they have the strongest anti-magical power. Does this mean Beatrice thought Battler would be the hardest to convince? It seems true that Battler was one of Beatrice's goals. However, if we go through that chessboard thinking Battler was so much, Beatrice is trying to make people acknowledge her existence. Therefore, you might say that she's a character who can't exist unless people acknowledge her. Battler reached this idea himself as soon as the first game. It's just a bit different about the Beatrice in 1986. She's different. So the Ecuadorian Beatrice, both of whom certainly did exist. The Beatrice in 1986, the one was so familiar with in a mysterious way, yet has no existence. What does it mean to kill this Beatrice who has no existence? The minimum number of people required to create a universe is 2. However, Mariah said that even a single person could give birth to a universe. And yet Mariah desired a second person. A second person to nurture the world she had given birth to alone, because if it was born and not nurtured, it would die and disappear. That's the place where the universe is Beatrice. The minimum number of people required to create Beatrice is 2. However, even a single person gave birth to her, and yet that single person desired a second person. A second person to acknowledge Beatrice created by the first person. That meaning that the second person is the same Mariah had just described. The single person who created Beatrice looked for a second person to acknowledge Beatrice. As selected Mariah, we don't need Furudo Erica's heartless reasoning to know that the teacup magic was a sleight of hand. Mariah, believing in the story about the anti-magic toxin, would close her eyes whenever magic happened. While she had her eyes closed, the caramel Mariah had been given to proof of her meaning, which had melted a little because Mariah had doubted. In a season where one was likely to put tea in her eyes, it was only natural for a caramel left in the bag to melt. Ushami and Mariah, the girl who's too trusting and will accept the story easily. Beatrice appeared first in front of the scroll grid in the language of which is very little of the anti-magic toxin. The creation of Beatrice can be thought of as an egg being laid. When a single person creates her, it's a little more than a daydream. She still sits inside the egg. If only a second person acknowledges her, then a shell will crack and shell will appear. She only appears if the second person comes to warn the egg. Whenever Mariah acknowledged Beatrice, she finally hatched and the ship was born. In that case, Mirage Sorcier, which nurtured Beatrice in her magical compendium, was like a nest. This is Beatrice, a woman with a dignified presence who calls herself the Witch of Broken G-Man who claims to have lived 1,000 years. That sounds like a chick Beato who appeared in the previous game, more like Beato the Elder. So did Count and mark the birth of Beato the Elder. The egg itself had already created by the first person. Between then and meeting Mariah, it matured immensely inside the shell into a character with a dignified presence of 1,000 years. And then Mariah acknowledged it hatched, and the Witch of Broken G-Man finally came to form. Perhaps that moment marked the birth of Beatrice in 86. The younger Chiquito was born out of love for Battler, since that birth hasn't yet occurred at this point in time. The birth of Beato the Elder and existence of Beatrice at this moment must have nothing to do with Battler. Are you enjoying this reasoning, Birkenstow? If you are, let's at least have some applause from the spectators. Great, thanks a bunch. I wish for Beato to grant me a lot of things with magic. That's why I'm helping her with her resurrection. What is it you wish for? Not telling. So when you wanted to protect your mama from the Black Witch, how did you know that? You're incredible who... You're already sure that y'all are going to be able to get that wolf back without a witch's help. Yep. I love Mama. She's so nice. I want to be with her forever, for all eternity. Now I'd like to hear about Mirage Sorcier. What's wrong? Don't wanna... Huh? I'm thirsty, so I'm gonna go get something to drink. See you later. Mariah became suddenly formal, bowed her head, and left without waiting for a reply. It was a very un-Mariah-like thing to do. I see, so the game master has moved to peace. Apparently she's telling me to ask about something different. At some point, Leona started chatting with the other family members. Jessica seemed to be getting irritated at having her butt pinched so much, and George was trying to calm them. Jessica and George, guess I'll hear their stories next. Compared to Mariah, and anti-magic toxin is very strong in these two. At least at the beginning of the other games, they didn't acknowledge Beatrice. Mariah struck me the point of view of one of the blue police. Now to hear from those who don't. Okay, so I'm gonna take a break here for a while. Okay. I apologize for our successor, so much lack of courtesy back there. Yes, I'm gonna leave an ask. Marcus said talk about merciless. Did you say something, Jessica? Of course not. I've already learned my lesson, okay? Leon had apparently been chatting with the adult sibling and spun around with that smile and stared at Jessica. Looks like the older sibling's firmly in control around here. Those are some sharp ears. I think I'm finally getting this Leon person. Yeah. Sister Someone's always been weirdly sharp. The adults are always gushing about that kid, and I'm always getting compared to that, both at home and at school. Come to think of it, Leon was the student council president during both middle and high school, and the head of the badminton team too. So everywhere you go, you get compared to Leon, and it doesn't match up well for you. Since I got into middle school, our successor Someone's already the vice president of the student council. So if you're planning to become the council president next year, I'll just put more pressure on me, so stop it. But the next year rolls around, I guess you announce her candidacy and wins by a landslide election. Same thing again in high school. I said, please just give it a rest since I'm already vice president. When year 3 rolls around, our successor Sama gets the council president job again. That was so proud. Mom could say, now you make sure to do your best as a little sister over and over again. But even so, you were so proud to be Leon's little sister, weren't you? It's not like I ever thought of it that way. Yeah, of course not. Why would I? It can be tough to be compared against perfection, but the other people are other people, and you are you. There's no point in letting it eat you down. Live how you want to live with all you've got, and you'll be fine. Of course. But Mom and the others always going on about how I need to follow Ushio Alliance for sex with a little sister. You keep telling me to go join the student council to go play badminton. You don't play in a rock band, do you? Oh, what? Shh, that's a secret, okay? Apparently she's keeping a secret from her family. Interesting. People tend to blame things on her family and how they were raised. But this Jessica girl always likes doing the same thing, even in a different world and a different family. It's admirable that she has such a true and constant interest in something. I loved it. That pretend song, that Dokuyan song. Nothing wrong with the extraordinarily accomplished short like Leon, because who act their age do have their charms. That's the best way to go through life and enjoy your youth to the fullest. Thanks. Apparently no one had ever told Jessica that they approved of how she lived. In a direct way, Will hadn't made her turn red and had her head in embarrassment. I want to ask you two now. The same thing you just asked Mariah Chan. Yeah, please go about Beatrice. Well, you can see how much Mariah Chan loves, which is a new cult for her. Beatrice is a symbol to be admired like an anime heroine. Whenever some trivial thing happens, she believes in so much pranking her with magic. You really are an adult, and so the fact that you never say that to Mariah, even if you think it. Of course, childhood dreams only happen when you're a kid. I think respecting that precious experience is like an adult's responsibility. Looks like the two of us will get along well. George's position was that Beatrice was nothing more than a fairy tale. However, that phrase, respecting a child's dream, is the adult thing to do. That might be worthy of further scrutiny. Once she got candy from Beatrice by magic, Mariah probably got excited and pulled George and the others. They and the adults who followed this lead actively supported the story as adults should. However, we could conceive of a similar situation coming up besides being an adult interacting with a child. For example, what about a subordinate interacting with a superior? Kendall Tyrant of the Ushio family claimed that Beatrice existed and had revived. Members of the family would actively support that story as subordinates should. Though Beatrice only appeared to her in front of a number of people, it's probably safe to say that the concept of her existence penetrated deeply within the Ushio family, even among those who had never seen her. However, no matter how deeply that concept penetrated, she was only viewed as a sort of fairy tale character. It would be necessary to transform the concept of that character from imaginary fairy tale into reality. So a person attempted to do this when he needed to perform acts no one could explain without magic. These acts with the witch incident starting with the window opening trance played by Beatrice the Elder and with closer martyrs, Beato the Elder talked about this, saying that the anti-magic power filling the mansion would be weakened bit by bit the more she made her existence known. Beatrice, why were you willing to go so far to make everyone besides you accept your existence? Because that fiction will become true if it wouldn't. Because at that moment, the being called Beatrice will be acknowledged and will become human. In that case, until Beatrice is acknowledged by all people, she's less than human. She's furniture. Why would furniture want to become human? I seem to remember this being a theme in the previous game. It's because they want to gain a right. Furniture cannot. So they try to become humans because they want the right to love. It's extremely simple. That's all strictly connected to the reason Chiquito was born in the first place. I see, I understand it, but it's complicated. You can't neglect the heart. I feel bad for saying this at Beatrice's funeral, but truth be told, I don't know enough about this person called Beatrice to tell you much about her. My apologies. Jessica Chan does live here, so she might know a little more than I do. Speaking of which, have you introduced yourself to this gentleman yet, Jessica Chan? No, not yet, actually. There's this idiot going around pinching people's butts, so I didn't really have the chance. A bit late, acting really in front of an unfamiliar guest. She cleared her throat and made a beautiful bow that didn't fit well with her normal attitude. She even lifted the corners of her skirt and curtsied. So pleased to meet you. My name is Jessica. Allow me to welcome you to Ushio family on this splendid day. Please enjoy your hospitality and will learn to call me Will. Huh? What? Jessica's greeting had been of the old-fashioned sort, so Will also treated her like an old-fashioned lady, bending down on one knee, taking Jessica's right hand and kissing it. Now expecting her greeting to be returned in such an old-fashioned, formal way, Jessica turned red and was unable to speak. However, Will had returned the greeting in what he thought was perfectly serious way, so he didn't understand what was making Jessica's face glow. I had done something strange. No, not at all. I wanted to hear what you know about Beatrice. Sparkling around the edges of Will's right hand, which grasping Jessica's hand. Looks like the theater going power is having an effect on Jessica. Damn it, for that to happen. Oh well. Beatrice says, well, I can tell you, but will you promise me something? Promise you won't laugh. Thinking about it now, it sounds a little crazy. Man, my game froze. Okay, there we go. What is it you know? I won't laugh. Tell me. Sure. Where should I start? Okay, so I'm gonna take another few minute break here. Me, the Golden Witch Beatrice is sort of like one of the 7 mysteries that you should in your family. You've heard of those, right? Almost all schools have a secret doll tales or ghost stories. Ghost stories that get passed down. Like on some days, the piano in the music room will start playing by itself, or the skeleton in the statue dances around at night. Everyone's heard of them, but of course that doesn't mean they believe in them. The stories about Beatrice were the same. It was just one of those strange dolls about our way too big mansion. The servants would sometimes talk about seeing things during their night patrols. Sometimes I felt a bit annoyed about them turning my home into a place for ghost stories, but I didn't pay it any more attention than that. That's how little it mattered to me, so during my normal everyday life, I would completely forget about the name Beatrice. Of course, when the huge portrait was first found, it definitely felt creepy. Even I tried not to meet with our eyes of the dark, so it's not surprising to stories from the eerie. Bullying lasted for a short while. We all walked by the portrait every day. We gradually bored of it. Didn't really care anymore about the portrait of the mistress and the grandfather's delusions. I get that. I bet it was different for the other relatives who only came a few times a year. Exactly, that's why every time my family came for a family coffee, so I always stand in front of that portrait and talk about Beatrice. So I was reminded of it every now and then. Ooh, Beatrice, I have come to play again. I've written a new spell. Take a look at it later, okay? You really do like Beatrice, don't you? You've been in such high spirits ever since grandfather had this portrait hung. Where's Ange? She went back with Aunt Carrie to take some medicine. Her body really is frail, totally the opposite of Battler. She's just sort of that gets sick whenever she's stressed. I also used to get sick on big holidays or trips. Mariah's really tough by comparison, and she's been talking about Beatrice nonstop since we left Regina. Don't you think she's taking this a bit too far? It's not so bad, right? It's normal for kids to have an active imagination. If a kid told you that she met Santa Claus, would you tell her she's a liar? Well, of course I wouldn't go that far. Mariah kept talking to the portrait as though it was an old friend. She promised to play with it later as if she was talking to a living human. George and Man seemed to think this behavior from a young member of the opposite sex was cute. But to be perfectly frank, Jessica, who was the same sex as Mariah, found this behavior a bit unpleasant, even though she realized that she was dealing with a younger girl. At one time, I was fascinated by anime heroines and other fictional characters. However, Mariah's behavior seems to signify something more direct than mere fascination. It's something more definite, more vivid. Am I the only one who notices something odd about her? I bet the others all notice it too, but tried to ignore it because of that adult dignity George Nissan is always talking about. My apologies, everyone. The head is quite research. She wishes to eat lunch and study today. Until a second ago, Kinzo's children had been complaining that eating lunch with their father would give them indigestion, but now that they knew he was coming, they started grumbling about how he should at least spare the time to come down during the annual family conferences. Then let's begin lunch, everyone. I could have made us all. I go to have made use of all my talent and experience to make sure that you guests who have come from so far away will be entirely satisfied with your meal. No one's stomach would fail to rumble after hearing that from the great chef Goda. By the time the splendid dishes were laid out, everyone had stopped talking about Kento's absence. It was now Angie's absence that was being discussed. Apparently her stomach had gotten so bad that she and Kari couldn't make it to lunch. Poor thing. Goda, make sure that you talk to Kari some later and have some porridge made. Thanks for the concern. Sorry about all this. It seems she just can't handle much stress. That's how it is with youngins. They're cute, at least when they're not regurgitated. George used to do that all the time. He really was frail way back then, right? Let's not talk about the past. It's not exactly a mealtime topic. Ooh, poor Anne. She won't get to eat this yummy food. Yeah, poor kid. Let's make sure we play with her a lot when she gets better. Ooh, no way. She can't play with me. What are you talking about? Why? Because I'm not going to play with Beatrice. I'm going to play with Beatrice, of course. I can't play with Ange. Play with Beatrice? You mean you're going to go off on your own and get to mumble yourself and read some book? Jessica thought they regretted that she had a bit more tactful. However, she couldn't wipe away that uncomfortable feeling she got every time Mariah talked about Beatrice. And that feeling slipped out through her words. Ew, I don't do it on my own. Pietro is there too. Mariah may be young, but she doesn't know how to read a person's tone. She immediately burst out in anger and drawing the attention of everyone in the room. Normally, Rosa would have stopped her at this point, gone to the bathroom at that moment, so there was no one to calm Mariah down. Poor Jessica, you're just a clump of toxin with Rito's weak magical power. Now, she'd burn to a crisp if she ever appeared in front of you. But she will appear before you eventually, yes, in front of everyone else too. Then the door to the Golden Land will open. Who knows if you'll be invited in. Of course, she won't take me there to the Golden Land. But not Jessica, not someone who makes fun of Beatrice, not an unenlightened, stupid, confused, filthy, pencil-stained human. When someone makes fun of Beatrice, it's like Mariah becomes a totally different person. There was a theory about Mariah having multiple personalities, wasn't there? Multiple personalities, yeah, that probably describes it perfectly, or maybe that was Mariah's idea of an ideal personality. You mean that thing about creating another self the way you want to be? How do you know my motto? Don't think too hard on it, you'll just get a headache. It was something just Chico once told Kenny. She had been talking about how anyone could create another self in the image of the person they want to be. I think we heard those somewhere near the beginning of the second game. Now that I think about it, it's still very interesting since it's been mentioned since very early on. Everyone has this self they really want to become, but they can't do it. Their current self is always surrounded by their lifestyle and the limits placed on them, so they have no way of changing themselves. True, changing yourself means changing your environment as well. That's not easy to do. So my idea was to leave who I am now alone. I'd create another self when I really wanted to be. You feel suffocated, forced to live the life of a rich family's daughter, and you envisioned the self that you wanted to be. But I couldn't do anything outlandish at home, of course. Mom would just start yelling at me. So I made my plan. At home, I'd obediently do what my parents said, but I also created a second self to do what I wanted. At home, you did everything your parents told you to, and outside, you do what you wanted. That's a good way to live. You should be proud. Thanks. Well, if there's something you really want to be, and if you really work for it, it's easier to do than you think. I figured Mariah was pretty much the same. You think Mariah's doing the same thing? Once she gets excited and starts talking and talking. Sometimes I think the person Mariah really wants to be. As it's the youngest member of the family, she's adored but not respected. Every time she learns something, there's always someone in the family who already knows it. She doesn't get to show off her knowledge about anything. Whenever she does learn something new, we try to smile and praise her, but that might actually have hurt her. So Mariah wanted to become an authority on something. It's just something that all young boys and girls think when they want to shake off their childhood. It's not a bad feeling when you learn something new and your parents praise you, but when you realize that your parents already knew that thing, and sometimes feel like they're talking down to you. When a kid learns their one-digit times table, their parents will probably praise them. However, in considerate parents will sometimes ask me questions like, then what is 11 times 11, or what is 67? And similar. If that happens, the kid will lose his feelings of accomplishment and will start to feel as though he could never surpass his parents. So it's easy to guess when Mariah got interested in the occult, something no one else knew about, and started learning more and more about it. I could think the person Mariah wants to be is an authority on the occult who everyone respects. And if she talked about the occult during her everyday life, Rosa would hit her. So you think she's been hiding the other self most of the time. That's what I think she's doing at a time like this. Maybe I should say that this is her self is slipping through the cracks to cover up her normal self. Actually, I had some experience with that myself. I've thought times it'd be nice to become a frail, secluded lady, so I pretend to get cough a lot. It's sort of become a bad habit. because everyone would be nice if you started having coughing fits. Now, whenever the conversation turned to something I didn't like, or something that made me feel uncomfortable, I could do that to change the subject. I see, and that's another stuff you want her to become. I appreciate it if you didn't. Then I just wanted Mara's other self, an authority on the occult who can argue even adults, or else it has to do with her relationship with witches. Either way, denying bitches in front of Mariah is clearly taboo. In her search for something more than everyday life, Mariah found Beatrice inside herself. In that case, is going to the Golden Land with Beatrice, Mariah's wish. Looks like we've gotten off track. Anyway, Mariah kept up that tangent and told Ambrose to come back. I should have let her be, but I fought back. You said there was no way Beatrice could exist. Something like that. If she existed, just let me see her. Of course, once Mariah started crying, I realized I've gone too far. And then, at the end of the family conference, I was the only one still upset. Mariah acted as though nothing had happened. Instead, she went off somewhere on her own and came back talking happily about how she played with Beatrice again. Everyone me included decided not to contradict her, but at that time it was best to just accept it and ignore it. Is that all you have to say about the family conference? About the conference, yes, what I wanted. The conference was over and everyone left. Even after the conference had ended, I still felt a bit uncomfortable. If Mara had just stayed mad, we would have made up with each other and I could have put it all behind me, but since Mara got over it, I felt like I was the only one unsatisfied. Oh, my lady, why the gloomy face? Oh, it's you. It still isn't important. Did everyone make it back okay? If it's all on schedule, they should have reached the Nishima airport by now. You've done your part well, my lady. I haven't done anything. It's true, servants, you've done a great job. Are you still upset by the fight you had with Mariah someone yesterday? Sorta. She's just a kid, right? It's not something you need to worry about all growing up and in high school. You think all that was just a kid's nonsense? You mean be about Beatrice-sama? I should see when you call her Sama. Beatrice is the name of the grandfather's mistress, the person he's still infatuated with. I realized that as a servant, so I could speak of her indiscreetly. Still, that's now become the name of the fictitious witch who lives in this mansion, and it's almost natural for people to call her Sama. Beatrice is just a ghost created by dogs to stop us from wandering into the forest. Mariah just thought it was interesting one day and decided to act like it was true. You say such things, you'll end up regretting it. After all, Beatrice-sama exists. Again, when you say stuff like that, you're just freaking me out. It may not be George Nissan, but I'm not going to go around shouting at set that couldn't possibly exist, but that doesn't mean he actually exists. You'll find yourself wrong there, my lady. Wrong. Oh yes, the gods dwell in all things in the same way Beatrice-sama dwells in the mansion. Like the gods, Beatrice-sama will do you no harm if you respect her. As you say, it will be as though she doesn't exist. However, if you fail to show proper respect, her curse will descend upon you. Of course, this doesn't apply only to Beatrice-sama. If there's a curse, let's see it. I'd just love to meet her. You mustn't say such things. Today. Shannon, Goda-san, you guys know about Beatrice, right? Huh? Well, I do know her, of course, when you ask. Two looked at each other. They looked like a pair of witches who would this person said utter a forbidden word. Let's have it straight. Does she exist? That ghost. If it's a question of whether she exists or not, I would have to say yes, she doesn't, probably. I am sure she exists. Why? Have you ever met her? I had never met her directly, but Shannon spoke in detail how she said those strange presents were still ahead while she's doing the midnight rounds. And each time she started, just go to immediately cut her. She must have seen it wrong or been mistaken. You haven't met her either, right, Goda-san? And of course not. However, well, he was being very evasive. Even a man as big as Goda apparently unable to deny the existence of someone he never met. This really didn't sit well with Jessica. She was a resident of the mansion herself, other than or someone else she didn't know was living there. Of course, she didn't like it. Wait a sec, tell me that story one more time. Which do you mean? The story about the VIP room? Go to and shouldn't have married, counting several ghost stories about Beatrice. One of the drew a reaction from Jessica. Yeah, that one sounds pretty cool. Coda and Shannon glanced at each other. After all, it had become a cool story to either of them. You mean though you must sit into the VIP room at 2 in the morning? The one about Beach's summer returns to the VIP room every morning at 2, so you must go near it? Yeah, that's it. Pretty cool. All the other stories are about people saying they heard saw something Beach's like. This one isn't it. This one says that if you go in the VIP room at 2 a.m., you can actually meet Beatrice somehow. Whoa, I wonder. My lady, they say that sometimes you speak of Beatrice somehow occurs. Furthermore, the VIP room is Beatrice someone's room. Even you, my lady, should probably reconsider. The VIP room is locked now, right? Where's the key? What's that key in the key box? It's the key, and she somehow used that key by his own chair. That master key can unlock it too, right? Look at all yours. But I cannot do that. My lady doesn't need to approach such a no-home place without reason. Hey, don't you go calling my house ill omen. Anyway, I made up my mind. If you couldn't give me that your master key, there's still that key for the VIP room, right? Let me borrow it. Alrighty. Did just go the expenses when the pair felt more like an ill omen than anything else did. Jessica's eyes the whole omen thing wasn't the witch of the VIP room. It was them, Mariah and the others who believed them witches. At the end, Jessica forced them to agree and she made them take her to the key to the VIP room. So you went on a classic test of courage to see if Beatrice would really be in the VIP room or not. Pretty much. Still, I wonder why I was so fixated on doing it. I must still have been brooding over that fight I had with little Mariah. Of course, the weather just had to be terrible on that particular night. To be honest, I totally regretted sticking my nose to something so pointless. But I already said so much that I even borrowed the key from them. I couldn't just go to Shannon the next day and have her ask me how it went. And answer while I gave it because it was too scary to keep. I go to sleep long before 2 a.m. Mom found me wandering the corridors at the time of night. She did well yell at me. So I waited in my room, staring at the hands of my clock as I ticked closer to 2. Outside the rain was incredible and the wind strong. Wrestling trees at the particularly eerie. I complained to Shannon and Coda about making up ghost stories from my house, but I was starting to feel like the ghost stories might not be so impossible after all. The Ushami I mentioned is huge. Honestly, I can't think of the entire mention as my own house. My mom says the hallways of the Ushami I mentioned should be treated like public roads. In other words, my own room is part of my own room. It's part of my house, but the hallways and the rooms I usually go into are outside. So while part of me thought the VIP room ghost story was ridiculous, another part of me was so creeped out that I kept frantically trying to convince myself it. Another part of me was so creeped out that it kept frantically trying to convince itself that the first part of me was right. There we go. Only 10 minutes left until 10. The one didn't see the VIP room at 2. I didn't get there before then. Guess it's time. Sorry, but I'm not giving up that easy. If it's going to happen, I know that. I'll just be a stupid waste of time for a few minutes. I touched the door and knocked on the door. Wasn't how cold it was. It's all the student in the student like they left off anything. After all, it was my VIP room. But it couldn't be like that always. That's outside my territory. The doorknob, the barrier between the two is ice cold. Idiot, what are you scared of me? You aren't tight chains and go to sleep. Trying to be couldn't sounds quite seriously, are you? I'll prove it. There's something strange in the VIP room. Okay, the corridor was only dimly lit. Before it lights out time, the hallways are brighter. But to avoid wasting energy or something like that, we kept the lights to a minimum at night, so even though I was inside my own house, it was very clearly the middle of the night here. If Mom found out that I was wandering around at a time like this to do a test of courage in the VIP room, which I'm not even supposed to go in, I'd get in a lot of trouble. To make sure she didn't find out, I tried to hide my breathing and my footsteps, so the sounds felt unbelievable. No, it was so quiet, the eerie sound of the wind was noisy. The sound of twigs rustling, the sound of some pillar and some mentioned creaking. That's the sound of what, like beak tapping against glass. Though it was so quiet, all of the little suspicious sounds made it seem noisy. Damn, I'm an idiot. Why couldn't I have brought a flashlight at least? A flashlight using some home. That's more idiotic. I mumbled this to myself, hoping to drown out the sound of the wind just a little. Then I saw it, the door to the VIP room. This was the VIP room, the room for the most important guests. However, as far as I knew, it had never been used before. None of the guests who came to this mansion were important enough to be given use of this room. Though I've been clutching that key the whole time, it didn't feel warm at all. It so ruthlessly and nicely tormented me, or maybe that was a warning. If you go back to your comfortable room and hide in your bed, this night will pass like any other. Don't mess with me. I can't give up after coming this far. Even though the key was freezing in my hand telling me to go back, it was slipped into the keyhole quite easy. All that's left is to turn the knob, open it, and I'll be inside the VIP room. So like I'd never been in there before. Long ago, I explored and played hide and seek all the time. And this dream was that I really entered seemed unusual and exciting. However, I got in trouble for going in and was told that this room was important, so no one must enter without reason. After that, they made a rule of locking up unused rooms and I couldn't go in anymore. So it's probably been several years since I've gone into the VIP room. In fact, it might be more than 10 years since the last time. The inside of this room has probably changed from how I remembered it. It's come to think of it, even though I felt there was something unsettling about it. I slowly pushed the door open. The door was light, and even after I let go of it, it kept opening by itself and so beckoning me in. Beyond it was a darkness as thick and heavy as ink. Even the dim light beaming from the corridor seemed bright in contrast. I stuck in my head, feeling both of the light switch next to the doorway. This was a horrible, awkward, and uncomfortable way to do it. All I really had to do was step inside and search for the switch from there. I wanted to get a single. I dimly stuck my arm in the darkness and felt along the wall. There. The switch, which was hardly ever used, felt stiff and lifeless. However, once the light turned on, the darkness vanished in an instant, and there, exactly as it had been, as though not a thing had changed in all these years. It was a VIP room. The curtain, bed, and cover might have slightly different, and maybe the chairs and mic had changed too. Stuff I had to put in words I called the field, the stiff, lifeless feel this room had changed. If I hung around here, someone might find me. I'd rather not have Mom find me here. I'd rather myself. And no, I couldn't even bring myself into this room with the lights wore out. I finally entered. As soon as I closed the door, I felt an oppressive, suffocating sensation. Alright, I shut myself up in the VIP room and bring it Beatrice. What time is it now? I looked around the room, but I couldn't see any clock. I'm not in the habit of wearing a watch around the house. Damn, now I'm not sure what time it is. Still, I know there's only a few minutes left at most. I tried to go. She's going to get a clock as an excuse to run away from this place. Even so, just sitting around like this was boring. When I looked around again, searching for something to sit on, I found something strange. What's this? What the fuck? They had been placed on a side table next to the bed. If this room had been used often, I'd say it was just one of the owner's personal belongings. But no one lived in this room, so this can't belong to the room's owner. What's this, an offering or something? Creepy. It really did look like an offering. A small furnished doll was sitting on the side table. The doll's hair was gold. It was wearing a black dress. Just who managed to find this doll and where? There's no doubt that someone placed the doll here to symbolize Beatrice. Does to me this doll is supposed to be the owner of this room or something? And looking like an offering to that owner, there is some small plate with several cookies and wrapped chocolates. It was all set out neatly and there was no dust piled up on the doll. In other words, both the doll and offering were taken care of on a regular basis by the servants to keep the good rest of the room. Taken care of? No, it's more than that. It looked more like an offering, not like some sort of worship. Like prayer saying, please don't curse us. So even though the doll was more than eerie enough by itself, viscerally, it was more unnerving. Imagine it being kept safe and worshipped in a place like this. Stupid, am I supposed to clap my hands together and say, please don't curse me? Just go for yourself, look away from the bizarre doll. She couldn't bring herself to sit in the bed that wasn't hers. Then again, she didn't really feel like she was sitting on my chair either. She had lost any desire to sit on anything in this room. I wondered about aimlessly, then peeked out the window through the gaps in the curtains to stare at the dark, rainy night. What the hell am I doing, hanging about in the VIP room this late just because the fight with Maria was still eating at me? This is totally pointless. Beatrice. Just when that strange witch started living in this mansion, grandfather was always yelling about Beatrice, since apparently it's the name of this dead mistress. People started talking about her ghost in this haunted mansion. There's still that kid's honor story about the witch in the forest, which might be a ghost story made by the dolls to stop kids from going in there. The portrait grandfather had hung in April, and there was also that weird epitaph. The creepy words on that, which sounded more like some sort of ceremony with human sacrifices, made the name of Beatrice seem more and more unnerving. At some point, these stories mixed together, and now because I know which Beatrice exists, I don't believe in Beatrice because I knew she's just a fictional person made by the fusion of a few horror stories. Beatrice, whose grandfather was... The Beatrice who was grandfather's mistress probably did exist, but she wasn't a witch. The story of the Witch of the Forest is made up by the adults to prevent their kids from being lost in the woods. But that was just a made-up story, not reality. In fact, I've heard the adults here would scare the kids with stories about the wolves living in the forest. Apparently, the kids realized that the wolves couldn't possibly be there, so it was changed to the witch. When the portrait was hung, the once vague character suddenly had a face, and the people acted as though she'd been around since long ago. That's right, it's all a ghost stories. Mariah calls Beatrice her best friend, and the servant worships her like a household shrine. I just don't get it. It creeps me out. The sudden ring of the phone made me jump so hard I thought my heart would explode. There was a phone on the bedside table across the doll. It was ringing noisily. However, I was only surprised by the first ring. By the time it had rung 3 times and became my cool enough to grumble about this being a prank done by someone trying to scare me. If I rushed to pick it up, I'll probably hear someone laughing at me saying, "Were you scared?" I thought about ignoring it instead, but it kept on ringing insistently. It's pretty loud to have going on this late night. If Mom somehow manages to hear it from her room, I'm screwed. Okay, I've got it. Might as well say you scared me or whatever. If I decide to pick up the receiver, I'll just say that surprised me, wahaha, and maybe follow that up with looks like Beatrice didn't show up after all. After all, this is my victory in a sense. Hello? Ew. Hi, Beatrice. Huh? Mariah? I don't get it wrong. Why would Mariah be calling me here? Hello? Thanks for teaching me that fun song last time. In return, I'm going to sing you a song, Beatrice. I just learned this one. The voice, the intonation, the manner of speech, all of it clearly belonged to Mariah. But what she's talking about all by herself, Mariah just kept on talking happily as I stood there, stunned and unable to interrupt. Eventually, Mariah started singing, and ultimately it gets on that even I knew. I don't get it. Mariah, hello? What is that? Stop singing. What's going on? I don't get it. Hello? The voice and lights, everything disappeared. In that pitch black, I couldn't see anything. I couldn't tell what was happening. I don't get it. What's going on? Oh, snap. What the hell was that? This being and darkness really slows humans down so much. There we go. I know it's dark, but I really have absolutely no idea what just happened. What was a shuffling sound just now? I'm not sure. I can't explain it. I bet it's the doll. I swear to God, that's the doll. Okay, I heard an incredible slithering sound like someone crawling out of a bed. I didn't think I heard it. It was that vague. I definitely heard it happen right next to me clearly. However, there was no change to the bed. No one had been sleeping in there in the first place. The sheets were perfectly straight. Someone had crawled out of the bed and had laughed in a creepy voice before leaving their room. That's what it felt like. I'm here and the bed's right there. I'm not only in the same room, I'm right next to it, so why am I unsure about what just happened a few seconds ago? I gripped the receiver, which had gone completely silent, and waited there alone and unable to move in a quiet room that seemed exactly identical to the one I entered. Huh? What the? If nothing's changed since the beginning, I can just pretend that the last minute or so didn't happen, and yet if something has changed, what would prove that something really did happen? The hell, where'd it go? Did it fall to the floor? No. No matter where I look from every angle, it's not there. The frame plate with the cookies and chocolate is still here, but the thing that would be enough for two, the doll is gone. No way. Then what just happened? This bitch is almost doll supposed to have cackled out and left the room. No, that crawling sound was too loud to have been made by a doll. It was a noise sort of sound like a kid playing with a blanket, using it as a cape. Then what? Is that bitch is someone doll supposed to have turned into a human and been around cackling away from their room? That's just creepy as hell. No way. After that, nothing happened. The doll alone disappeared and nothing else changed. In the VIP room that had remained completely unchanged and filled only with the sound of wind and rain, I stood there too shocked to move. Did you ever find that doll? I looked everywhere, even under the bed. but I didn't find it. What do you think happened in that room? I don't think it was actually Bitch's Sama's curse. It might have been a prank done by the servants. A prank? Maybe they recorded Mariah's voice beforehand. They called at exactly 2 and pushed the play button. They could have cut the power at the switchboard or something. Then someone who'd been hiding in the VIP room would make a creepy laugh, take the doll, and leave. If this is how it happened, everything fits. Does it sound like you're really convinced? No kidding. After all, it was just a prank to scare me. The scale was way too large. They made Mariah see him beforehand and recorded it as someone called the VIP room or played that recording. Then someone waited until exactly the right time and tripped the brick of the VIP room. To turn off the power to the VIP room, you have to go to the basement. That's the switchboard booth down in the boiler room. There's no phone line down there, so you need a different person to play back Mariah's tape. And you need another person to hide in the VIP room and cackle before leaving, and just how long were this last VIP room beforehand? How long would they have to hide in the pitch black VIP room under the bed, for example, waiting to scare Jessica who might or might not even come? There's no way it could be a witch's curse, but still, to me it's even creepier to imagine that many people planning everything down to the slightest detail and waiting for several hours in the darkness just to scare me. I agree, a curse would be better. Did you ask the servants about that later on? What's the point? They just play dumb, of course. There had been at least 3 of them, and I think Genji, Kota, Kumasawa, and shouldn't have stayed the night, so 3 of those 4 helped out with the creepy prank. It doesn't make sense. That's why I couldn't ask about it. She would have been a strange experience for her, but it wasn't something completely impossible for humans to do, even so it really must have been more unnerving to imagine a large number of people planning to so carefully just to scare Jessica. I'm surprised that Jessica found it scarier than Beach's curse. No, I was probably scared and mistook what I saw and heard. The doll probably just fell somewhere and I just had trouble finding it. Are you trying to say you imagined the whole thing? Other than a doll disappearing, there was no other proof that anything had changed. Later on, I talked to Mariah and she said she didn't know anything about the song or the phone call. I don't know if she was lying or not, or divorce. Anyway, what happened that night is just something I thought happened and there's no proof of any kind. That's ironic. Even if you claimed to have met Beatrice directly, you would have just been unable to prove it. The shock lasted for a while, but time has passed. I began to think about that lightning or something must have shut off the power for a second. Maybe one of the trees into the garden fell, which I mistook for the stuttering sound. And the laugh. Maybe some strange bird. Anyway, I might have misheard something to get that sound. I act tough, but you wouldn't believe how much of a coward I actually am. That's why I let my imagination get a hold of me. I try to use it as an excuse to help me forget everything that happened that night. And everything is then shuttered in darkness. People are actually pretty good at right. After that night, I felt uncomfortable every time I heard the word Beatrice. But I tried hard not to let the short on my face. That's all. I can't tell you any more than that. It's kind of embarrassing, so please don't tell anyone. I don't want them knowing I'm a chicken. Sure thing. I have one last question. About the VIP room? No, about the dining hall. The dining hall? On the day of the family conference, just before your ghost story, all the relatives were gathered in the dining hall, right? Yeah, except Battler hadn't come back to the family yet. Everyone else was there. Everyone except grandfather, of course. And Ange wasn't in the room because of her stomach ache. Her seat was next to yours, wasn't it? Yep. What's that, the seat to your right? Yeah, the seat to my right. Why does it matter? Wait, that's strange. Why to the... That's enough. Try not to rethink. What's up, Jessica? Why the confused look? Right. Left. You're so weird. How's it going? Well, have George San Jessica told you anything useful? A bit. That ghost story about Beatrice is pretty fun. A ghost story? What kind of story? The one about Beatrice ghost appeared in the VIP room. Oh, okay. I had a yawn. Beatrice ghost appeared in the VIP room at 2 in the morning. It was pretty creepy. Yeah, I never heard of that. I don't know who put that out there, but it'd be really rude making up ghost stories about the woman our head is indebted to. Immortal answer. What? Do you know about the epitaph, Leon? Epitaph? What epitaph? The epitaph by Beatrice's portrait. My apologies. I'm sorry guys, I had to yawn again. Okay. I had no idea what you mean. Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved hometown. What on earth are you talking about? So in your world, no, in this world, the portrait exists, but not the epitaph. Of course I know about the large portrait of the beaches hanging in Idris, but I haven't heard of this epitaph. What is it? That's a very interesting difference. You've lived on Rakajima all your life, right? Of course. What's your point? When you were a little kid, you were told not to go near the woods during about it. Yes, they always said to stay away since it would be dangerous if we got lost. Because a witch lives in the forest. A witch? What witch? The golden witch ruler of Rokkenjima's night, Beatrice. Beatrice is a woman who cared for the oaths of great debt. Don't you think it's a bit rude to treat her like a witch or a ghost? You don't know about the witch Beatrice? I know about the Beatrice who came here in a submarine along with the gold, and about her daughter, who was raised in a dimension. We just learned about those two together a short while ago, right? Where does the witch come in? I see, so that's it. Then how did they scare you to keep you away from going? They said the wolves lived in the forest. Wolves, but not a witch. I see. That's interesting. Not to me. What are you talking about? What is this witch? Oh, I coughed that. Oh. Okay, I'm just talking to myself. I have one more question. Please go ahead. During the family conference, who sits to your right at the dining table? My little sister Jessica sits across from me. The next in rank is Eva's son. So George's son is the one on my right. What's your point? I get it. It's all mashed together in a confusing mess, but it is interesting. Well, I'm still in the dark here. Okay guys, I'm gonna end the video here. It hurts to talk, my ear infection is back, and move from my jaw up and down, it vibrates into my eardrum. So I can't keep going. I wanted to keep going because I'm really interested in what's gonna happen next, but nah. Eardrum hurts and shit talking. So anyways, yeah. Thanks for watching guys. I will see you guys next time.